Welcome, shave fans. For today's shave of the day, I will once again be using the Dr. John's Soaps Savannah Sunrise. This is the new version of his soap base. And so this will be a little more in-depth maybe than the first time I used it. You know, I didn't want to give or say too much about it on that first use. I wanted to get it, give it a chance to make sure that I didn't get a placebo effect or anything like that. So I'm just finishing up, working up my lather here. As you can see, just nice, thick, peaky, really works up a nice lather. The puck itself is harder as well than the old formula Dr. John's, which is nice. I prefer a more of a solid puck to the softer crope. I did, in between that last shave that I videoed and this shave, I did use the old formula in the Bandit soap, and so I got a good, another good baseline for the differences between the two. So this one should be a little more definitive for my review. All right. Might as well not waste whatever's on my palm here. So for me, the obvious, or the differences are pretty obvious. The new formula feels creamier, I guess is the best word that I can find for it. The old formula, one of my all-time favorites, but this new formula, it's kind of like the difference between half and half and whole milk. If you're a coffee drinker like I am, then half and half is typically what you put in your coffee for cream, and it's good. It's great. Nothing wrong with it. But if you haven't, you probably should at some point try putting a dollop of whole milk, or whole cream into your coffee. And you will find out that, wow, it makes a big difference. So that is kind of how I feel about the new versus the old. The original soap base was awesome, but this is noticeably better for me. It's creamier, really good cushion. It is thirstier, which does make sense as a more of a solid puck. It will need some more water. In fact, there's a good chance that it needs more water than I even have with it right now. Very comfortable. This Savannah Sunrise is just a great scent too. Okay, first pass. Good. I'm going to add some more water though to this soap, and just to see basically how thirsty it really is. Because I lathered it up to where I felt comfortable, but shaving with it. I think it can take some more water. So I'm just going to add a little bit to my palm and go back at it. And really throw some water at it. I just add a ton of water, by the way. And I'd already done one good lather with my brush, so just make sure I get that water all mixed through, and we'll go at it again. I've kept everything else the same about this shave too. So same razor, same brush as I did on that first one. So part of the reason that I wanted to put more water on it is because I thought maybe I was a little too thick, and I was. And the way that I could tell was that if you don't get enough water in your soap, the residual slickness will not be there. You need that water and enough of it to give you that residual slickness so that you can go back, and do a little buffing. Wow, just such a great shave with this razor, the soap blade combination. I'm just going to do cleanup because that's all there is left. I would think that because of how thirsty the soap is, that a lot of us, myself included, are going to have to get used to adding more water to it when we create that lather. Because if you don't, you'll have an awesome, initial lather, super thick and creamy, but you'll lose that residual slickness if you don't get enough water in it. So, and just doing this kind of third cleanup pass without adding any extra soap. That's one way for sure that I can kind of test that. And yes, residual slickness is there. I just had to put even more water than I thought. So, all right. Oh, what a great shave. So I am going to test the after shave, the post shave feel again, but I can tell you after that first shave with it, it was the most amazing post shave feel I've had from any soap, any lathering soap. The exception to that would be Your Best Face, their luxury shave creams, which is, an aftershave kind of a balm already. And so that gives a very similar aftershave feel where, you feel like you've been moisturized. And that's how it felt with the aftershave, not just 30 minutes later, but 8 hours later. It still felt like my face had been moisturized really well. And it's just, wow, a really top-notch soap for me. I'm really digging it. I can't wait to get some of the new soaps new scents that he's been coming out with. The new, not propaganda, I can't remember what it's called. I was just looking at it too. Jared Stein just got a tin of it. Progress, something like that. Anyway, a new one, and it's in that same line with the and he's going to have 3 total in that line. So propaganda, progress, and the third one I can't remember. So, and I'll double check and put it down in the notes or something. But that sounds like a really good scent too. And Jared gave it an 8 out of 10 on scent strength. So, and the scent, allspice and a few other things he said, allspice stood out, and the rest of the blend just was perfect behind it. So I'm really looking forward to trying that. All right, so I'm just going to rinse off here, and just like last time, hit it with some witch hazel. So that I can really get a feel without anything else, you know, adding to or detracting from my post-shave feel. And I'm all sawdusty actually because I've been out in the shop working on a shave stand for Jason Spiegelman, one that I've owed him for months and months and months. He's been extremely gracious and understanding, you know, with the baby and stuff. It's just hard to get out there all the time. But he's starting to get a little older. My mother is here visiting for a little bit, so got a little bit of babysitting. All right, guys. Yeah, another absolutely awesome shave. I hope you guys have one too.